Okay, guys, here we go. Markets are absolutely brutal today, and there is a bit of news to talk about. There's several factors that are in play right now, and you definitely want to keep an eye on these things. So, we're going to be going over those news events here in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and start off by looking at what's going on with Bitcoin's price. It's now had 3 days in a row of candle closures in the red. Volume yesterday was very low, though, but it is important that it closed out below this key Fibonacci zone at $78,100. While we're recording the video, we're seeing it at about $76,300. And if this does continue up right here, we're going to have 2 days in a row that are closing out below that level, which would suggest a trend formation, which means basically that we might end up seeing this continue further down. We've already seen this drop down take place starting on May 11th. We had one day that looked really good on May 14th, and then everything got wiped out the next day, which is quite interesting because you do look at the amount of volume we had on May 14th compared to that of May 15th, and it was considerably more on May 14th. So even though volume itself has dropped down quite a bit, on the new day formation, it's really ramped up here, and it's looking mostly on the negative side. We're starting to see a little bit of a bounce here on that bottom wick, coming up just a tad bit. But as it is right now, it's really struggling. And overall, we're just going to go ahead and zoom out a bit here. We're seeing that Bollinger Band is still basically the same width. We're not seeing any major movement there, nothing suggesting a major push up, a major push down, just kind of a trickling effect that's happening right now progressively. And the thing is that if this does drop down, you really want to keep an eye on this lower Bollinger Band level, which is sitting at $75,600. That's not too far off from where we're at right now. That bottom wick did get pretty close to it, but didn't exactly tap off of that. So that's going to be a level that potentially we might see a bounce or a test at the very least. And then below that would go down to $75,000 for psychological level. And then even further down, a really bad scenario would be down to $63,135, right around in that range. These are levels that you want to keep an eye on. If it can manage to break above $78,000, we're starting to look a little bit better. But right now, it is definitely rocky. And we do have a new week, so there's lots of opportunities ahead. And let's go ahead and move on to some major news events. So first up with this, Goldman Sachs sells all Solana and Ripple ETF holdings. This is getting a lot of attention. It's being posted by Kalshi Crypto. And what's interesting is there's a follow-up here. This is from Dom Kwok. And they say, FYI, this is not Goldman exiting its investments in XRP and Solana, as the headline suggests. Rather, it refers to Goldman's trading desk activity. Their initial holdings of XRP and Solana were meant to facilitate client needs. So, for example, ETF creation, redemptions, market making, prime brokerage activity, etc. They were not investments held because Goldman was particularly bullish on XRP or Solana, nothing more than a routine rebalancing. And I want to know what you guys think about that. Now, from bull theory, insane volatility in the United States markets. $1.1 trillion moved in and out of the US stock market in under 40 minutes. I just want to start off by saying this. It is absolutely mind-boggling to me that we have been seeing so frequently this year $1 trillion or more that's being moved in just a short amount of time. We're talking less than an hour, numerous days. $1 trillion worth. It's so hard to comprehend that much money. The S&P 500 opened and immediately dumped 0.35% in 15 minutes. That wiped out $262 billion from its market cap. Then in the next 11 minutes, it reversed and pumped 0.54%, adding $405 billion back. Then dumped again 0.33% in just 7 minutes, wiping another $248 billion. Then recovered 0.28% in 5 minutes, adding $210 billion back. Is that what algorithms trading against each other looks like? Well, apparently. I mean, suggestive of it, definitely, right? Look at that. That's so crazy. It's just absolutely bonkers. Breaking, United States of America. U.S. 30-year Treasury yield rose as high as 5.16% this morning, the highest level since the run-up to the global financial crisis. Ouch. And for Japan, Japan's 40-year yield hits 4.41%, their highest level in history. Global yields are melting. Chad Steingraber points out here. The U.S. 10-year yield, 4.617. 30-year, you got 5.14. Look at Australia. It's up. We've got Spain up, Germany, France, Japan. Absolutely brutal. And Jesse points out bond yields are spiking higher around the world. This is going to be a very serious problem soon. And I don't know about soon. I mean, seems like it's a problem right now. Soon is pretty close, but yeah, right now it's a problem. Just absolutely brutal. Japan, United States, Canada, Europe, Great Britain, Japan. Yeah. The worst case scenario for the US debt market is happening right now. China's total holdings of US Treasury bonds have dropped to $693 billion, back to levels last seen during 2008 crash. So again, we're seeing more and more instances that are lining up with what happened during the Great Market Crash, 2008. China once held over $1.3 trillion in US debt. That number has been cut nearly in half over the last decade. As the U.S. continues to run a $2 trillion annual deficit, the countries that used to buy that debt are selling aggressively. Japanese investors also dumped U.S. bonds at the fastest pace in 4 years. China is now at an 18-year low. When there are fewer buyers for U.S. debt, the U.S. has to offer higher interest rates to attract new ones. That is why the 30-year Treasury yield just hit 5.1%. That's why mortgages, car loans, and credit card rates are at multi-decade highs. The people who funded America's debt for decades are walking away, and the bill is being passed to every American who borrows money. So if you guys look at this right here, it does point out close to around 2008 there. October 2008, we're seeing comparable levels. And this is an 18-year low, potentially dropping down even further. We might be seeing levels comparable towards earlier of 2008. If it drops below 600, sitting what looks like around 500, but right now we're sitting at 684. Just in, only 47 days remain until the U.S. Clarity Act deadline that could reshape XRP future. 47 days. You think we can manage to hold on until that passes? Will it pass? I hope it passes. Citadel takes $1.7 million stake in XRP ETFs. There's some good news. Breaking, Iran will accept Bitcoin payments for Strait of Hormuz transit through its new maritime insurance platform, Hormuz Safe. The platform bypasses SWIFT entirely. Iran is projecting over $10 billion in revenue. And also from bull theory, the Indian rupee just hit a new all-time low against the US dollar. The rupee has now lost over 25% of its value against the US dollar in the last 5 years. People over in India are definitely getting, what's the right word? Stressed out, worried, anxiety, all of the above. Things are looking really rough over there. And hopefully we'll see things start to turn around soon. But it sounds like they're trying to prepare people over there, a lot of them, to be entering into poverty and not in the near, not too far in the near future. So I really hope things get better very, very soon. The U.S. oil prices surge above $107 a barrel after President Trump tells Iran that the clock is ticking, quote unquote, the clock is ticking. What do you guys think? Is it going to be 2 weeks? Is the clock set for 2 weeks? Is it going to be another 2 weeks? Until then, there's another 2 weeks. And then maybe it'll be a 2 weeks for the 2 weeks. And then 2 more weeks. How many more 2 weeks are we going to see here? 2 more weeks? maybe 2 more weeks, right? Anyways, moving on. Ash Crypto points out, this is for Japan's stock market today. We saw $95 billion erased from the market. It says Japanese bond yields soared to a new all-time high. And let's go and look at what's going on with XRP's price, and it is not great. So also 3 days of candle closure. We saw Bitcoin, 3 days candle closure. Right now, XRP is essentially mirroring it. We had this key level I talked about. If it dropped down below, we might see a further drop. And not only did it drop down below, we then saw pretty much a flash crash yesterday, going all the way down to $1.37, essentially where we're at right now. It did go a little bit further today, down just below $1.37. So we're about $1.37 and a half while I'm recording this. It's starting to go up a little bit. Volume pretty low yesterday. Crazy to see how much crazy to see how much price activity goes on sometimes when the volume itself is actually so low. So the people that were trading seem to be leaning more in one direction. More selling taking place, volume starting to ramp up, potentially people trying to buy up that dip. But as it is right now, if this closes out below this line, then we'd be looking at the start of a possible trend suggesting an even further drop, which is not great. It's not nice at all. And I also mentioned this previously, that if this did dip down, this might end up forming a new lower bottom, right? So we'll see how things continue to move with this, but potentially we make some adjustments here and see if this is actually going to be the new bottom. Right now, I'm not going to go ahead and set it that. We're going to want to see how it plays out for the rest of the day. But if we close out down below here, then I want to adjust that bottom line a tad so we can see if there's a new endpoint where we see that things might start consolidating to. And besides that, there's a crypto exchange called BTCC. If you guys haven't heard of this, they've been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, 250 leverage. There's no VPN or KYC required to get started. And you can get a deposit bonus, 10%, if you deposit over $500 USDT. So if you want to look into this more, and if you would like to get started, I do have my referral link in the description down below. And that's what I got. Thank you so much to everyone supporting the channel. Those of you on Patreon, those of you that are my YouTube members, God bless. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.